Here, worst. There is a true freedom movement going on in Cuba. And the American media is completely ignoring and silencing the story. Every American should be celebrating this and talking about this every single day. This is a huge deal. And every American should know the expression, patria y vida, homeland and life. That is the rallying cry of the Cuban protesters. Did you even know that? I didn't know that till the other day. That should be the headline of every newspaper in America. We should be supporting this freedom movement right off our coast, and we're not because our media is full of a bunch of communists, which we'll get to in just a second. But let's talk about this expression. Where'd it come from? So the communist revolution motto was patria o muerte, homeland or death. This is Che Guevara, real name Ernesto, but he didn't want to go by Ernesto, so he's by the cool name Che. Che Guevara. This is 1964. This is a speech he gave in the United Nations.
Esa proclama es patria o muerte.
Patria o muerte, right? It's everywhere. It's on their money. It's graffitied all over the place. It's all over Havana. Pictures of Che and Castro, homeland or death. And the point is, you need to sacrifice everything for the government. But now the protesters are flipping that slogan around. Their slogan of the protests are patria o vida, homeland and life. Here are some protesters risking their life in the streets. Listen carefully. We got patria o vida. Where did this expression come from? It's because of a song. This song has exploded across the island. It is the rallying cry for protesters right now. Here's just a little bit of it, and then so you can kind of visualize what's going on, and then I'll translate it.
A punta de pistola y de palabras que aún son nada. No más mentiras. Mi pueblo pide libertad, no más doctrina.
So our revolution had a fife. This revolution has some reggaeton, but it's fine. Here it goes on. No more lies. My people demand freedom. No more doctrines. Let us no longer shout homeland or death, but homeland and life. And start building what we dreamed of, what they, the communists, destroyed with their hands. Stop the blood from running for daring to think differently. Who told you that Cuba belongs to you? Imagine this. By the way, this is done by a couple guys. Some are in Miami, some are in Cuba. And here they are telling the Castro regime, who told you that Cuba belongs to you? If my Cuba belongs to all my people. It's over now. Your time has expired. Silence has been broken. It's over now. Your laughter is over. The rallying cry is already flowing. It's over now. We're not afraid. The deceit is over. It's over now. It's 62 doing harm. 62 is 62 years since the revolution in 1959. You have no more left. You're all getting off. The people are tired of putting up with it. We are waiting for a new dawn, homeland and life. Beautiful. It's like Thomas Paine stuff right there. One last note about this video. In the beginning, it has a picture of George Washington, which is pretty cool. But there's also this very quick moment. Guys, we can play this real quick here on the side. So you have the current Cuban flag coming up right now, and then it burns up, and it turns into what also looks like the Cuban flag, but that was a different flag. Watch it quickly one more time. Cuban flag, and then whoom, what's that? That is, it's called the Céspedes flag. It's named after Carlos Manuel de Céspedes. Long story short, he led the first of 3 attempted revolutions against the Spanish. This was in 1868, right after our Civil War. 1868 was the first revolution. There were 2 more, and it ended in 1902. Was full liberation from the Spanish colonists. So that flag, so it's the Puerto Rican flag, Cuban flag, and then burned up into this new flag. That's their Gadsden flag. right? You with me? That the flag that it burned into is their Gadsden flag. It's their flag that represents independence. After they were free from Spanish rule, and then before they were enslaved by communist rule. So make note of that flag. You may see it being flown again. So what's Biden doing with all this? What's he doing to help the people of Cuba? Nothing. This is the head of the Department of Homeland Security. This is during his nomination process. Here we go. He said, "When I was very young, the United States provided my family and me a place of refuge. Now I've been nominated to Homeland Security Secretary and oversee the protection of all Americans and those who flee persecution in search of a better life for themselves and their loved ones." Wow, that's beautiful and inspirational and just wonderful. He can't wait to help people fleeing persecution in search of a better life. Wow. That was November 2020, 7-8 months ago. Here he is today.
Allow me to be clear. If you take to the sea, you will not come to the United States. The time is never right to attempt migration by sea. To those who risk their lives doing so, this risk is not worth taking. Again, I repeat, do not risk your life attempting to enter the United States illegally. You will not come to the United States.
Wow. Team Biden found the one and only form of illegal immigration that they object to. This is the one group of people that the Biden camp has ever played hardball on. And by the way, these are people who would actually be granted real asylum, right? This isn't, oh, we got to come to America because we're poor. This isn't, oh, I got to come to America because I live in a violent place. This is, we have to come to America because if we don't, the government's going to shoot me in the head. That is asylum. But they're not allowed here. Why? It's very simple. Cubans vote Republican. Cubans are why Trump won Florida. Cubans vote Republican. Cubans know communism. And they're very aware of it when it creeps in here. This is exactly what I've been half joking about for years now, that if immigrants from Mexico and South America voted Republican, then Nancy Pelosi would be mixing the mortar herself on the border with Mexico to build that wall. And what you just saw is it. That's it. That's my joke. Like that's right. That's the only way from Cuba to America. It's through shark-infested waters. So you can't build a wall to keep them out. But Nancy Pelosi's out there chumming the waters. I'd like to say, where's Nancy Pelosi been the last few days? Probably on a boat throwing off chum in the water to get the sharks there to keep the Cubans from coming. Make the trip even more dangerous. Make it even more impossible. Got to keep those future Republicans off these shores. Cubans are fleeing real acute oppression. And Biden takes the hardest hardline approach he's ever taken on anything. But to go back to my first point, this is the Havana bureau chief of CNN, Patrick Opeman. He tweeted this out. He tweeted, the Cuban government says there's been no further protest today, but it's impossible to know what the real picture is across the island, as much of Cuba remains under an internet blackout. Dude, you live there. You're the Havana bureau chief. Like, go outside. You're in Havana. But, I'll just have to take the communist word for it. I guess there's no more protest. They say there's no more protest. I guess there's no more protest. Just got to take the commies' word for it. And we'll all just have to take the word of our communists in government too.
Wow. That was deep and insightful. I want more of that. Like, subscribe, get more.